Hey, this is Gale Nelson. This is the Game of Life.
Welcome to the Game of Life, Shane. How you doing today, brother?
Hey, I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Now, you know what, Shane? I just happened to just take a look at just your basketball resume, brother. And you are a humble brother. Detroit, we've talked. You've been on the Game of Life before. But, I mean, in terms of national championship, correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, national championship 2001, Duke Blue Devils, two-time NBA champion, as well. I mean, your name associated with folks like Rupp, Naismith, and Oscar Robinson. Did I miss anything on that, brother?
No, you know what, Gail? I was blessed to have an unbelievable basketball career. I was so lucky to play for amazing coaches, have amazing teammates, and I was able to put the time in and contribute and be a part of that resume. But a day that goes by, I'm not grateful for the journeys and the struggles on that journey that brought me to this place today.
And not only that, and again, I was just giving you just an appetizer or a summary of your basketball resume. And it's not every day that someone's a first-round draft pick as well. Now, you were drafted by the Vancouver Grizzlies. Tell me about that.
In 2001, after winning the national championship and graduating from Duke, I was the sixth pick by the Grizzlies. And it was the first year they moved from Vancouver to Memphis, Tennessee. And so it was a pretty amazing time for me because I was able to grow up in the NBA, so to speak, along with the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis, it was their first major professional sports team. And so they were learning what the NBA was about. I was learning about what the NBA was about. And it's where I really became a man. And I got married and started my family. And I spent 5 wonderful years in Memphis. And it was really a great nurturing place for me to start my career and grow up.
That's awesome. And Shane, it's kind of weird. Here we are, April 3rd. And from a college basketball standpoint, there's only 1 month that transcends them all, and it's the month of March. So in light of what we're dealing with, I mean, to not have March Madness, Shane, I mean, you who won a national championship playing for Coach K at Duke, I mean, just what was your March Madness? We know everybody's March Madness has been COVID-19, but
yeah.
Tell us about some of your most memorable moments and how you deal with no March Madness this year.
Well, I feel for the seniors who never got a chance to experience a tournament maybe, and this was their last year in men's and women's basketball. There's nothing like the tournament. America loves a one and done situation. You win or you go home, and it brings out the best in you. And I'll never forget, starting with Selection Sunday and figuring out, where you're playing, who are you playing, and look, everyone, filled out the brackets in their heads, and even though the coach just said we take it one game at a time, that's a lie. Everybody, well, if we win this game and they win that game, we can see Kentucky in the Elite Eight, and that was the fun part. But as soon as Sunday was over, you go back to work and you prepare for that first strong game. We were lucky to be number seed every year, and when you get to March, Coach K used to tell us, look, this is not the time to reinvent yourself. Okay, the hay is in the proverbial barn. You need to do what you do, but you need to be the best version of yourself. And it was a really message that he taught us, which I lean on now in these times of crisis and coronavirus and COVID-19. We don't need to be anyone who we are, but we need the best version of who we are, and it's really an appropriate metaphor for sports and in life.
That's good stuff, Shane. And as we think about this coronavirus, how are you and the family holding up, and what are some, not only the best version of ourselves, the message that Coach K shared with you all and what you're sharing with all of us today, but for all the bigs and littles out there and all the kids we mentor in partnership, speaking of the best versions of ourselves, with you and the Take Charge Foundation and what you're doing with us, big brothers, big sisters, and Take Stock in Children. What's your message to all the bigs and littles? Because I'm going to share this with them as well as we deal with coronavirus, bud.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot. It's great to reflect on the great philosophers and the great leaders of our time and in times of crisis to see how they handle crisis. And my favorite quote this week actually came from Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer of all time, one of the greatest athletes of all time, great American. And he said, "Don't count the days, make days count." And I never thought about our situation like that. We're all sheltering in place and doing our part to be a member of society and just stay home and be healthy and live a healthy lifestyle. It really is a strange time from the standpoint that we have time in our to reflect and use time for improvement. And that's time I'm a big and my guy Jubert is an amazing little to me. And we talk about, how are we using this time? Are we being productive? Are we glued to the television and getting caught up in the corona news cycle, which all of it's bad and can literally harm your psyche? Or are you using this time to read? Are you using this time to connect with family? Are you using this time to connect with friends that you've lost connection with? Are you using this time to read? How are you getting better? And this is about what are you doing today? And that's the so when you ask me how I'm doing, I'm blessed, brother, and I know you feel the same way. I feel blessed to use this day to get better and contribute to the world. And so when we come out of this, and we will come out of this, we come out of this more resilient, steel, and improved. And we get through this, we can get through anything.
Shane, you never disappoint, brother, dropping knowledge on the game of life and where everybody makes the team, but how you play is up to you. Quote Muhammad Ali, don't count the days, make the days count. When we think about that psyche, and we're here with big brother Shane Battier, not only with the Take Charge Foundation, NCAA champion, two-time NBA champion, just helping everybody today understand that your mindset has to be ready long before you get into the game. Shane, let me ask you this. What was your pregame routine? You guys played a few big basketball games on the biggest stage in college basketball. How'd you get your mind right? What'd you do?
My ritual was always the same, and it's probably a little more boring than most people like to imagine. But like anything, we're all creatures of habit, and I never got too riled up before a game. And I try to approach every, whether it's an exhibition game or Game 7 of the NBA Finals and the National Championship, the same way. I know that my preparation has been complete. I've put the work in the summer. I've put the work in after practice. I've gotten great rest. I've eaten the right thing. So like everything I could do to prepare as I walk into that gym, I've done, and that gives you amazing confidence. So I never was filled with anxiety. I wanted to play well, and I wanted to perform well and play well for my teammates. But once I got to the gym, I was pretty calm. And once I stepped in that gym, I was a different person. I was so focused on what I had to do, what were my responsibilities, what were assignments, defensively, offensively, were my teammates prepared? How could I help my teammates? And you go through your regular shot routine and talking to the coaches and film session before the game. But once you step out on the court, it's all about trusting your habits, trusting what the game plan is from the coaches, and just doing your job. And again, you don't have to reinvent yourself and do something that is totally new to you. You just get to be the best version of yourself, especially in a big, and trust the preparation, trust the training, trust the repetition. And if you have some talent and some dedication and some focus and a little bit of luck, good things will happen.
And I tell you what, I love that, Shane, because we think about the calm before the storm. You're talking about the preparation before the storm. You think about NBA Game 7 of the finals, national championship games as well. Trust your preparation. Put the work in long before the storm. These are all basically, as we deal with this coronavirus, these are messages for us to use today and to apply today. It transcends the court, Shane.
It is. And the message I give to my kids every single day is control what you can control. Individually, you cannot you cannot stop the proliferation of corona. Okay, but you can do your part to stop the spread of COVID-19 by staying at home, practicing physical distancing, washing your hands, right? You control what you put in your mind. You control how much TV you watch, or how much Netflix you watch, or the things that you read. And so in life, the most successful people, they're not born smarter or faster or stronger. They understand that they are in control of what gets put in their mind, and they use this for good and for positivity. And so that's a challenge to all my bigs and my littles out there today. Use this for good. It's the most powerful weapon in this time of crisis and uncertainty. Put good things in here and spread those good things to the people around you.
The championship mentality with Shane Battier on the Game of Life, letting everybody know, bigs, littles, everybody out there, that the time to prepare is right now. You know, we can beat COVID-19 by taking care of ourselves and stopping the spread. And so, Shane, one of the things that's important, you think about infectious diseases and defense. What you mentioned, social distancing. You mentioned washing our hands. You know, just being smart. If you've traveled recently, self-quarantining to help so you don't hurt the team in the game of life. So when it comes to defense, my man, you were quite a stopper on the court, and you took a lot of pride in your defense. Who was the most difficult person? I want you to start with the college basketball, and then tell me about on the NBA level. Let's start with NCAA. Who was the toughest one? You knew you had to bring your A game. You brought it all the time, but who was the one you said, "Okay, here he comes"?
You know, the one guy who got the best of me, and I only played against him 1 year, and he caught me when I was a freshman trying to figure things out, was Antoine Jameson from North Carolina. He was so quick, and I had never seen anyone that quick and had that good a touch around the rim. And they beat us 2 out of 3 times my freshman year, and I just had a lot of trouble guarding him. He was the best player to that point I played against. And you know, at Duke we had 12 McDonald's All-Americans on the roster pretty much every year, and so our practices literally were tougher than any game that we played. So if I had to say, well, what were the toughest teams that I had to play, it was probably the Blue Squad in my own practices at Duke. You know, when I got to the league, there's so many great players, and you know, as a competitor, you want to be tested against the best, and I got that chance every single night. And you know, for my money, Kobe Bryant, rest in peace, was the toughest opponent that I played. You know, obviously his athleticism and his skill was unparalleled, but what made him different was his mind. And you know, I wasn't very fast, Gale. I couldn't jump very high. I wasn't very strong, but I was razor sharp in the mind. And he was the one guy that I never felt I could penetrate mentally and take out of his game. Everyone else, I sort of knew the tricks to get him out of their game. But he was the one guy who would feel trapped. And for that, we played so many games within the game with each other, just mentally, psychologically. And he was the guy who brought out the best in me. And when he passed away this spring, it really affected me because I knew I'd never had the chance to have that conversation to tell him you were the best. And he knew he was the best, but I lament that we'll never get that chance to sit down and relive the battles that we had within the battles. And he was the best. He was the best.
And I appreciate that. When we think about that Mamba mentality, Shane, and especially whether it's infectious diseases, whether it's in life, whether it's academically for our students, whether it's just the social challenges our kids face. And again, I will never forget being with my family and shedding those tears when I heard about Kobe's passing, and certainly may he rest in peace. He's impacted so many of us. And as we think about the challenge, when you hear Mamba mentality, what does that mean to you, Shane?
I get the shakes, Gale. I get the shakes, you know. You know, he brought out the best in me as a competitor. And you hope in life you come across a challenge that absolutely tests you to the limits in a safe way, that you know you have to be your absolute best to have a chance. of success or even survival. And for me, Kobe was that guy, and he about plenty of times. And I had to learn, not only who he was, but what was the best way to mitigate him. I never stopped Kobe Bryant ever, but I like to consider myself the human yellow light. If I could get him to slow down just a little bit, that's a win for me. And the Mamba mentality was a relentless pursuit of excellence. He wasn't playing against me. He was playing against perfection. And his potential was the ultimate goal. And I was just in his way. And, the greatest competitor I played against, and the most mentally strong player I ever played against. But again, he controlled what he controlled. His preparation, his work, his attitude, his reaction to adversity. He did all those things. And he knew he didn't rely on anybody else to do that. And that's the Mamba mentality of, you know what? If it's up to me, it's got to be me. And that's what I respect and share with Kobe.
That's awesome. As we think about, here we are in the game of life with NCAA champion, national champion, NBA, two-time NBA champion, Shane Battier, big brother, Shane Battier, making it happen in the game of life for littles here in Miami through scholarships, through mentorship. Take Charge Foundation is making it happen in partnership with Big Brothers, Big Sisters in Miami. Shane, as we seek to just deal, and as we go to our last segment here, and I appreciate your time always, brother, as we team up, not only through the space of mentorship, as we team up just to help provide some basic needs. I'm excited, and there's some great things coming up. We're going to team up in a lot of ways, just providing some basic needs for families, food and all of that. What are your thoughts in terms of just your message to the folks in Miami in terms of not only hanging in there, but for the power of partnership, Shane? Some of the things we've talked about in terms of food insecurity. What's your message, brother?
Well, right now, it's the time to lean on each other. If you need help, reach out. All right. This is not the time for pride. This is the time that we come together as a people, as a community. So if you need help, all right, reach out to Big Brothers, Big Sisters. Reach out to Take Stock in Children. Reach out and ask for help. There are resources that are out there. Gale and I have been on the phone with people trying to figure out different ways to reach people to provide them. All right. So you're not alone. If you're struggling, you are not alone. But again, you take the initiative and don't stop till you find that person that says, yes, I can help, because they are out there, and if you're blessed like I am to be able to help, do your part. Ask how you can volunteer, donate your money, donate your energy, donate your time, proliferate the message of community, positivity. And we are going to beat this. We are going to beat this. This is the biggest crisis that our world has faced in a long, long time. But the power of humans and community is the biggest weapon that we have. And it's bigger than any virus that we'll ever face. And so continue to think about doing your job as a member of humanity, as a member of this community of Miami-Dade. And let's get through this, because we're going to see some great things out of people. We may see some things not so great out of people, but let's continue to fight the great fight for each other, knowing that we will all reap the benefits in the end.
That's all right, brother. And I tell you what, we got some folks tuning in, and one of your former teammates, Norris Cole, is tuning in live with us. And in his feed, he says hello. And shout out to my brother, Norris Cole. But he says you are you are a great teammate as well, brother.
Well, Norris is the best, man. I was lucky to have him as a young buck. And, I loved his passion and his enthusiasm. We wouldn't be NBA champions without Norris's contribution. So to my brother out there, thank you. Hope you're safe and healthy, and your family's doing great as well. And, that's what this is about, man. Community, brotherhood, and stay in the course, fighting together.
No doubt. And for those that are joining in, join the team. Shane, I will share this with you, brother, that as teammates, you're on the team already. You're in the mentorship space, and we're going to team up with Norris Cole next week. We're going to do a championship series and just have a series of champions with messages like you're sending today to our bigs and our littles. Tell them to just stay in the game, keep your head in the game, as you said, Shane, prior to and during. But I want to share this with you, Shane. We have the digital means now of recruiting bigs, processing bigs, and helping them connect with little brothers and little sisters through the digital platform. Just like we're interchanging now, we're going to, and so I want you just to talk to Miami and let them know it's time to sign up, because I want to recruit 100 new bigs, because there's kids out there that are all alone. Imagine dealing with COVID-19 all by yourself, but as opposed to having someone to sign up and be their big brother or big sister. So you've had some great coaching from your dad is Big Ed Battier, right?
Yep. Big Ed still kicking around, still fighting.
And he's full of coaching. So you've been coached by the best. And I love how you don't start with Coach K. You start with Big Ed Battier. You've been coached by Coach K, Coach Spoelstra, and then some of the great coaches that go down in history. And so here's the thing, brother. I want you to coach everybody up. We're in the virtual locker room of life. And we want to get people to sign up for this team to join us in the mentorship space. The floor is yours, brother.
Hey, get involved. Whatever your idea of what mentorship is, I'm telling you, as someone who's a first-year mentor, it's wrong. It's much more fulfilling and much better than I ever thought. Being able to impact the life of a special kid in our community. There's so many tremendous kids who have so much potential in our own backyard. You never know what that word is, what that piece of encouragement is that will unleash greatness that could literally change the world. But that greatness is only released through mentorship, through encouragement, through positivity. And so you can have an impact as a mentor, a huge impact, not only on an individual, but our community and our world. So get involved, do your part, and pay it forward.
Well, Shane, brother, I always appreciate the time. Bigger things to come. We're going to team up and help some families in Miami-Dade in the most basic of ways. Thank you for your service as a big brother. Thank you for the friendship, the partnership. You are a true champion on and off the court, brother.
Well, I appreciate you, Gale. Keep fighting the good fight. Thanks to Big Brothers, Big Sisters, Miami-Dade. You guys are doing the Lord's work. So we're going to beat this with people like you, Gale. Thank you.
Thank you, brothers. Happy to have you on the team. For those tuning in, thanks for joining us on the Game of Life, where everybody makes the team, but how you play is up to you. 305-644-0066 or BBBSmiami.org. Shane Battier, all the best to you and the family, brother. We'll see you next time.